That
Hey,
music is so
Chris.
tropical. I always feel like I'm on the island somewhere when I when I hear that.
I'm about to be on a beach, a tropical beach vacation here soon.
Oh yeah, you are. You are.
I
I act like
am.
I can't just drive down to the beach. I act like, oh,
I
the
know,
ocean's so
right?
far away.
Like it's exactly. Oh my gosh.
Rude. So rude.
Oh
We
goodness.
we were just talking about how strangely prepared we were for today's episode.
Yeah,
Which
we
I
really
don't,
were. It feels nice. I like
I
this
don't.
feeling.
Is it a bad thing to say that it's weird that we were prepared? I feel like that makes it just sound like we're just unprepared all the time.
It's not that we're unprepared. It's just that procrastination has become our norm. And
Yes.
this week, procrastination didn't take into effect. And so
Yeah.
it feels odd. And even though we procrastinate, we always seem to get it done.
Yeah. Here's the thing: we're professional procrastinators. We've been
Yeah,
procrastinating for, I mean, decades at this
years.
point.
I
So
mean,
it's
over 2 years now because our 2-year podcast anniversary just passed.
that's right. I was like, oh, Allison, remember we had a 2 year anniversary that we just never talked about. So
Yeah.
hey,
So
happy 2 year
happy
anniversary,
anniversary. Happy belated anniversary to
right?
us.
Oh, I'm gonna post this. I forgot to post this on social media so people can come find us if they want to come join us.
Should I be smiling?
Yeah, it's just I did a boomerang for some reason. I was like, why not a
Oh,
boomerang?
okay. Why not?
That's what people do, right?
Yes, that's what
All
the
right, let me
cool
pay.
people do.
So, Allison, as I'm posting this, entertain us.
Okay, so I was laying in bed yesterday after lunch watching TikTok, as all good parents do, while my kids played. And I saw this really funny video of this woman who her husband, she was had a glass of wine and she was telling him that they were doing a boomerang, but she was really recording it. And she would be like, "Oh no, I don't like your smile. Can you like smile bigger?" And so then they would clink glasses and then she'd be like, "Oh, can you look at me?" And then he would look at her and smile bigger. And then she'd be like, "Oh, you're showing too much teeth. Can you like not smile as much?" And she just kept doing it. She was like, I need you to sit up a little bit more so
Oh
that way,
my!
like you can show off your fit body. And he like sat up. It was so cute because he just continued to like do what she said. And I showed it to Matt, and Matt was like, "There's no way I would have made it that long. Like I would have been like, I'm done." Because
I can
he's,
imagine him being like, yeah, you know what? Nah, we're done.
that's how he is though. He doesn't have patience for social media. He doesn't he doesn't he doesn't like doing all of that, but it was so funny. So when you said boomerang, that's what I just thought of.
Have you ever played a trick on Matt like that, or
No,
he's like, no?
I said something to him like, "Oh, I watch all these husband pranks and I show them to you, but I don't ever want to prank you." And he was like, "You can prank me." So I think we need to start like I need to do that. I need to make that a reality. I was like, okay, I'm going to start doing that. Let's prank him. Like,
But it
I'm going
feels
to do
like
it.
he is too hard to rattle. Like he would just be like, okay,
So that is one thing with Matt is he doesn't have high highs and he doesn't have low lows, right? So he doesn't have like these big grand reactions.
yeah.
One time I pranked him whenever this is mean. It's not funny. I shouldn't have done this.
Some of his brain is
But
messed up.
it was after we had COVID before, people could get their vaccines and it was really bad. And his job was like, you have to stay home for 24 days. It was super inconvenient for everyone and everything. And so like 2.5 or 3 weeks later, we thought my son Evan had COVID again. And it was still in that time where like it would totally shut down Matt's work.
Yeah.
Matt had already been gone and it had all fallen on someone else. So he was like, he can't get COVID again. I think this was still like maybe Matt and I had the first dose of the vaccine, but our kids hadn't, that anyway. So I
It's
go
real
to
early
take
days.
Evan and Matt's like, call me once you know. So we go through like this testing center at the school district and it was negative. And I was like, okay, let's call dad. And Matt and Evan said, let's tell him it was positive. So
Oh, you
I
guys
call him in the middle of teaching.
I'm
And
noticing a trend. You seem to like to call him in the middle of teaching.
usually it's only a if it's an emergency, like when they like rush the Capitol and like I called him because I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is happening!" And he was like, "I'm trying to teach. Like this is for emergencies only." I was like, "This is an emergency." He was like, "Goodbye," and hung up. So I call him, and because he knows we're getting COVID, and I said, "We just got the COVID results in," and he said, "What did it say?" And I can hear like band instruments in the background.
Oh,
I said, "It's positive," and he just stopped, and he said, "Oh my gosh," and I was like, just kidding, it's negative. And he was like, I mean, he was like almost like mad at me. He was like,
yeah.
why
He
would
was
you
like,
do that?
he's thinking about all the stuff he's gonna do. He's like, I'm gonna get a sub. I gotta rush out
Uh-huh.
of this school right now. Oh,
Yeah, because the first time he got COVID, or the first time I got COVID, and then he ended up getting it, it was still so new that the moment I tested positive, he was at work and he went to tell his principal, and his principal said, "You need to leave immediately. Don't get anything. Get your keys and you leave. Do not come back.
man.
Like, don't talk to anyone. Get out now." Like, it was like not like, let's get you a sub and get everything. It was like, get out of this house, get out
They're
of
like,
this
we
school
don't care. You need to
now.
leave this building.
Yeah, so Matt literally like walked back to grabbed his keys and grabbed his computer and left. So
Man.
it was kind of like still in those crazy days of that. But that was a prank I did. But no, I need to prank him more. But no, but yeah, if I prank him, the reactions won't be fun. Like if he were to prank me, the reactions would be fun because I tend to be just a little more.
How can you put this?
How can I? I don't want to say over the top. Let's just say
No, we would
energetic,
never say that. No.
enthusiastic with
Yes.
all responses.
You have a certain, thirst for life and
Yeah,
energy
exactly.
that,
Energy. I'm more energetic.
yeah,
That's
they
what
just
it
can't
is.
contain. Yeah, that's what we'll say. That's what we'll say.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, you ready to dive in?
Oh, wait, yeah, I guess we should start the actual episode. We didn't clap yet. We have to clap.
Oh, we have to clap.
We
We
got
have
to
to
sync
clap.
this
Okay.
up.
Okay.
All right. Am I counting? You counting?
You count this time. 1, 2, 3. Then we clap after 3. 1, 2, 3, clap.
All right. 1, 2, 3, clap.
Okay, here we
Got
go.
it. All right. It's all you. We
Okay.
also have, oh, wait. Quick shout out to
Oh,
the patrons. We have Angie and Scraggy Mama joining us in
welcome,
the
welcome.
Discord. I see Beth Ann is on. She might be joining us on YouTube. So, hey, thanks for
Okay,
joining us.
perfect. Yay, yes, thank you for being here. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
When I was growing up, my brother had glasses, and I thought it was so cool that he had glasses. But honestly, he had such poor eyesight in one eye that his glasses would tilt because the glass, like the actual glass in his left eye, was bigger than the other ones. Anyway, I wanted glasses so bad because I thought they were so neat. I thought you looked so smart, and I really wanted people to think I was smart, I guess. I don't know. So one year in third grade, we went to the nurse's office, and the whole class lines up, and we go through, and she does the eye screenings. And I was like, "This is it. This is my opportunity to get glasses. Like, I've got to make this happen." So as I was doing the eye screening, I lied, and when it was like a B, I would say P, and knowing that the letter was really a B, or if it was like an L, I would say E. And so I was like, well, I don't want her to think like I'm really blind. Like, I don't want to make this too obvious. So
You don't get all the questions wrong.
I don't want to get all of them wrong, right? So I was very choosy about it, and I was so excited. We left. We walked out. I told my friend, I was like, I did it. Like, I'm going to get glasses. I just know it. Like, this is happening. Finally, my dream come true. And like, later on that week, they pass out the letters to the people who need to go to the eye doctor. They're like, womp womp, you failed, go to the eye doctor. And I didn't get a letter. I was like, oh my gosh, next time I need to lie more because I didn't get my letter. I was so upset that I didn't get to wear glasses. Hey, this is Allison.
And this is Chris, and you're listening to This Is Awkward. And I'm offended. I'm
What?
offended. As someone who has worn glasses for almost their entire life and had
You
to be
are so
called
lucky.
four eyes and had to deal with breaking your glasses and you can't see. The fact that you want to voluntarily join us glasses wearers who had to struggle. Back in the day, we didn't have these stylish glasses that kids got now. You had those little wireframe ones that
I
lenses
thought
would
they were
pop out,
so
the little nose
cool.
pads. No, it was horrible.
Okay, they don't have nose pads on glasses anymore, do
No,
they?
yeah, I don't have any. Do you guys have them?
No, I just have reading glasses. I was so excited when I turned 32. I got to get reading glasses. I was like,
What?
finally.
Who? What? I don't understand this. Like, it was. I guess I should. You know, I'm happy for the kids now because it's acceptable. It's cool to wear glasses.
It was
Whereas
cool back then.
it was not cool. I don't know what school
I
you
thought
went
it was
to, Allison.
cool.
We're the exact same age, and I don't know what you're talking about, but it was never cool when people wore glasses in elementary school. It
I
was.
thought it was so cool. Look, even Beth Ann says I wanted glasses in like second grade because half my class had gotten glasses. I think they looked just so neat. I thought maybe it was like independent because you had to care for them and make sure that you like put them away. And I just thought they looked so awesome that I was like, okay, if my eyes, and I had like 20/20 vision, like perfect vision.
Oh,
And I
here we
was
go
like, okay,
bragging again. Okay.
I was like, I've got to take matters into my own hands. I mean, if I'm gonna get what I want, I have to do what I need to do on my end to make this happen. And that's what I tried doing. And unfortunately, it didn't pan out. It wasn't enough. I did get fake glasses in 8th grade from Hot Topic because hello, I was like, I'm gonna finally get this and make this happen. So I did wear fake glasses for a while.
You know, I remember when those started popping up, and I was annoyed then. I was like, you all hated people with glasses, and now all of a sudden you're all just voluntarily just wearing glasses for no reason. Like it makes no sense. Like, don't you know? I can't. You all with your I wish I had glasses. But I think maybe it was a guy thing. Maybe guys made fun of other guys with glasses. Maybe they were a little
Maybe.
more cruel. And
I don't
maybe
know.
like for girls, you weren't really making fun of each other for glasses.
Maybe. I never made fun of anyone. But let me tell you that this story has come in handy because, for 10 years I was an elementary school teacher. I taught third, fourth, and fifth grade. And in third grade, a lot of kids start to get glasses because I think that's when they start realizing it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was able to tell this story to every student who got glasses that was nervous about getting made fun of and try to be like, hey, I wish I was you. Like, this is so awesome. And so it was nice because I got to share those types of moments and maybe try to help kids see glasses in a different way. So that way they didn't feel like you.
You know what? You redeemed yourself with that story.
Thank you.
You really did. At first I was kind of annoyed with you, but you know what? You're helping out the next generation. Okay.
Thank
So there won't be
you.
other little Chris's out there with their glasses getting broken because no one
Yeah.
hit me, but I just dropped them on the floor. But,
Yeah. Except that I quit teaching, so I don't get to do that anymore. But
yeah,
whatever.
Okay, quick tangent. I know we need to start the show, but do you remember the glasses that would turn to sunglasses, like the transition that you step out to the
Yes.
sunlight? So
Yes.
I remember that I was like, did you see a video pop up? I think I see something.
Yeah.
I think it was Scroggy
Scroggy
Mama.
Mama. Scroggy Mama's doing something.
We see her video. What's going on, Scroggy?
I don't
She's
know. Look,
eating. She
there's
got
our
snacks.
lunch.
She got popcorn. Is that popcorn over there?
Should I disconnect from her? What is Scotty Mama doing? I'm gonna disconnect. I just hung up. Oh no, I
You
disconnected
disconnected
myself.
yourself. But I was gonna say those two. One of our patrons, a video popped up. She said doing the most. Sorry. But I used to have those transition glasses, but the technology was new and it was horrible. So I
Oh
remember
yeah, those things looked ugly.
and they wouldn't go back to clear glasses. So I remember I'd be stuck all day at school with like partially tinted glasses. And when my dad would pick me up from school, I would take my glasses and put them in the glove compartment because that was the only way you could get them to go
Oh,
back. You had to
to
put
get
them in
them
like complete
completely
darkness.
Oh my gosh. See, you were trying to be too cool with the transition
I was
glasses.
like, yeah, I'm gonna have sunglasses on the playground at recess, and then I'll be all ready to study when I get back in the classroom.
Except you were left with just dark glasses and you looked so weird sitting in
Oh,
class. That's awkward.
slightly tan
Yeah,
glasses.
that's awkward. But that's what we do here, right? We
That
talk
is
about awkward stories, specifically awkward money stories.
exactly. We hopefully help you get through your awkward money stories without losing your friends and family along the way, and we do it thanks to all of you who are so great with sharing your stories here with us. That way we can discuss them.
Yes, and if you have a story to share, which we need more stories, whether it's happening now in your present or it's happened in your past, please call us and leave a voicemail sharing your story at 707-200-8259. Or we actually have a website
Yes,
where
we
you
do.
can submit your awkward story. Chris, tell them what the name of that website is.
It is awkwardpodcast.com. And I have yet to make a little banner for the video viewers so they can see
Okay.
the name of the podcast. I'll put it up later. But yeah,
Yeah.
Awkward Podcast, you can go check out, or awkwardpodcast.com. You can go check out past episodes. You can leave us a review or rating, but you can also leave us either a voice message or a written message with your awkward story.
Yes. Or if you're already on Instagram, you can always send us a direct message at This Is Awkward Podcast and let us know your awkward money story there.
Yeah. And today's awkward story, it's about someone who they got a friend who's a little too comfortable asking for money, and it kind of feels like the friend is treating them like a bank. So we're going to dive into that topic and kind of walk them through how we would handle this situation.
Yes. But first, we have to make a really big announcement. And that is it's getting time to be summer.
Oh, it
And
is. It is.
and every summer, I don't know if you know this, but every summer, well, I know you know it, Chris, but whoever's listening, every summer we take about a month off of our main feed episodes, so that way I can travel
Yeah,
and
it's
Chris
really about
can be
Allison because I'm
bored.
not going anywhere.
It's so I can travel with my family and spend more time with my kids and do all those things. However, we continue to put out Patreon episodes every other week. So while we do pause main feed episodes for a period of time, we continue to put out Patreon episodes. So if you still want to fill in, if you still want to hear from us, if you still want to get filled in on everything that's going on in our life, have fun conversation, then join us on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/This Is Awkward Podcast. It's super budget friendly. I think $5 gets you the bonus episodes every month.
Yeah, and we do typically 2 episodes a month. So while we're on our break from the main show, those 2 episodes will still be coming out on the main feed. And we also do some extra ones. So this past month in April, I think we've done 4 or 5 episodes at this point. We
Oh,
recently
really?
talked about, we shared our conversation about Wesley, who sent in his question about would a high earning woman want to date a man who only makes $30,000? So that just came out this morning. And then
On the
last
main
week,
feed?
on the Patreon only feed. So
Oh,
if you're a patron, you
yes.
got that
One's
episode this morning.
good. And I got feisty on
You
that
got
one.
feisty. You're blaming me, even though I didn't ask the question.
I got feisty. Ooh.
We talked about another bonus episode last week came out about Allison getting ripped off by her AC repair guy. We've been we've been talking about all kinds of stuff, and we get to just have additional conversations on the Patreon feed that we don't have time to do here in the main episode.
Yes. So we would love for you to join us. You can check it out. What's great is that you can cancel at any time. So like we said, you can go to the show notes and there's a link there in the show notes, or you can go to patreon.com/This Is Awkward Podcast.
Yeah, so we're gonna take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll hop into our awkward story. Here's the break. Woo! To celebrate the ghost. It's a ghost. Oh,
What?
it's too early over here, Allison. It's too
What are
early
you
for me.
talking-
I'm still waking up. Okay, I'm still waking up.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right, so we're gonna
Okay,
hop
here we go.
into. You want to bring us back?
I'll bring
Am I
us
bringing
back.
us back?
You
Am I
want to
reading or
read
you
the
reading?
story? You want to read? Do you want me to read? What do you want to do?
How about you read it? I read the last one.
You did read the last one?
Yeah, I think I read the last episodes, so you can take
Okay.
this
Okay, here we go. Then you bring us back.
one. All right. Okay, let's jump into this week's awkward story. Allison, why don't you read the situation for us?
Okay, here we go. Here's what it says. This person wrote in and she says, I have a friend who I've given money to on a number of occasions. This individual in particular has been unable to work steadily over the past couple of years due to health concerns and the pandemic. I have given them money, usually relatively small amounts, ranging from $25 to $50 on a handful of occasions, and have been paid back maybe half the time. Sometimes when they are pressed for help with a bigger expense like rent, they will ask on social media for help. But I've noticed often that if they need a smaller amount, say to help with some groceries, they will come directly to me. It's starting to become more and more common, and I am struggling with how to say no moving forward. I'm beginning to worry this individual is starting to think of me somewhat like a bank, and that I'll always be there in a pinch when things get tight. Help.
Oh, this is a good one. You know, I would always like to give you the choice, Allison. Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to hop in first?
I want to say something.
No.
I want to say something. First off, that was my first time. Like Chris read this to me earlier before we
you weren't
started
paying attention to
recording, but
me.
I wasn't paying attention.
As
So
usual, I was before the show. I'm basically just talking to myself. So
you're not talking to yourself. I'm present, just not always tuning in to everything you're saying. But I missed the part where they said that sometimes when they're pressed for help with bigger expenses like rent, they'll like go to social media, where they basically, it's like a cheaper way of doing GoFundMe because you don't have
Yeah,
to,
basically.
GoFundMe doesn't take a percentage of it, right? I think that yes, your friend is starting to think of you as a bank. I think that this is a very dependent, possibly even codependent relationship.
Hmm.
Obviously, your friend is dependent on you to pay for bills. Um, and they are going to continue to be dependent on you until you set clear boundaries. Because right now, they might even be thinking, oh my gosh, this person likes helping me. This is, they got an opportunity to help me. Like they're always there for me. One day I'll pay it back to them. Like that's what the person asking might be thinking. And they
Yeah.
have no clue that you are getting tired of it and you're ready to say no because that hasn't been expressly communicated and there's no clear boundaries there. So you have to start the boundary and it's going to be uncomfortable at first. But, that's something that Chris did with me. He still hasn't paid me that money. We talked about several episodes ago. I think it was $2,000. And I think one time he basically said, Allison, I am not giving you any money.
I think the exact words were "over my cold dead body." I think it was something like that.
So now I know how to get it. I just have to. But no, I think definitely like they are not aware, and I always like to think like best intentions, everything like that. But if you have not expressed it, they are not aware. We can't make assumptions and assume that they know that you're starting to feel like a bank and that they know that it bothers you or that they know they're coming too much, right? We can't make those assumptions. It's like that book, The Four Agreements. You're supposed to, one of the agreements is you assume nothing. Like, don't assume anything. Don't make any assumptions about what people are thinking or anything like that because you have no idea. We can't attach those thoughts to people. So the only way to make sure that that is what they're, that is to come out and say, I'd love to help you. Or you know what? I wouldn't even say that because you wouldn't love to help them. That's a lie. No,
I
I'm
would not love to
serious.
help you.
And this is what my mom has taught me. It's like, no, Allison, don't say that if that's not what you say. Instead, you say, I know I've helped you in the past, but I can no longer be lending money out starting, from this moment on. And that's it. I know I've helped you in financially in the past. However, I can no longer do that.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to go about it because, yeah, you're right. You have to set a boundary. You can't, if you don't say anything, they're just going to keep thinking it's okay. And
Exactly.
I think sometimes, I know I've definitely fallen into this, where you start to think other people think the same way you do. It's like, oh, yeah, this makes
Yes.
sense to me. So, yeah, that everyone else feels the same way. But that's 100% not the case at all whatsoever. Based off of the shows Allison watches that continue to be put on the air, I'm like, who would watch this? But clearly, there's enough people like Allison watching these shows
You mean
to
like the
keep them going.
ultimatum?
I'm talking about the one where the girl died on the toilet, like the stuff like that, where I'm like,
Stop
who's
it.
watching
Don't
this?
bring that.
But
Oh my,
clearly,
should
there's
have
people out there
never.
like Allison watching the show over and
Oh my
over and on the
gosh.
loop.
I regret ever talking about that. I don't have a lot of regrets in life. I mean, I have a handful, of course, because no one's perfect. I don't have a lot of things that I'm like, I wish I hadn't said that. Like if but I do regret coming on this podcast. I wish I could erase your memory of that so that way I could stop getting
Look,
shamed for my television
you like
choices.
what you like, okay? There's no big deal. But that's just, I'm going to give you an example to show that there people, we all think and feel completely different about things. The things you think are obvious to you probably aren't
Hmm.
obvious to someone else. So this person, clearly to them, the idea of coming to you for money on a regular basis doesn't seem odd. And even the
Yes.
fact that they don't pay it all back doesn't seem to trigger maybe I should
It
pay
does.
back all the money I borrowed before I ask for
Hmm.
more.
Yes.
And when you're in a situation with someone like that, that's when you definitely have to start setting boundaries
Hmm.
because if not, they're never going to see anything wrong with this. Like to them,
Exactly.
they're my friend. They seem happy. They seem fine giving me money when I need it. They give me money and I'm
Hmm.
good. And that's as far as it goes. And they don't think about it any more than that.
Yeah, exactly. I actually did want to tell you what the four agreements are.
I was going
So
to ask you what that is. Okay.
there's this book called The Four Agreements. It's very short. I listened to it on Audible. It's maybe like an hour and a half long. It is a little bit woo woo Do you know what woo woo means?
I do know what that means.
Okay, I wasn't sure. It's a little bit woo woo, but I took what I liked from it. So one of the four agreements is be impeccable with your word, which means speak with integrity, say only what you mean, avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Um, and then the second one is don't take anything personally, which is something I'm working on. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering.
Oh.
I mean, like, you can't take anything personally. So like that's one thing that like whenever someone sends me a mean message on Instagram or sends me like has a
Oh
nasty
yeah.
comment or anything like that, I'm like I can't take it personally because it's literally just a projection of what they feel about themselves or what they feel about something else because they know so little about me that like I just can't even take it personally. The third is don't make assumptions. So that's what this person needs to do, right? Find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama, which is why I said you don't say, I'd love to help you. No, you don't. You wouldn't love to help them. You're done
I do.
helping them.
I'm
So
not in
you
the mood for
literally
helping you.
state facts. I know I helped you in the past with money, you know, however, moving forward, I will no longer be able to help you financially. I will no longer be able to give you any more money. And then the last one is always do your best, right? So your best is going to change from moment to moment. That's what's really true in parenting. And it's going to be different. But like under any circumstance, do your best and you will avoid self judgment, self abuse, and regret. I did not do my best the day I talked about that movie I liked. I
You
did
did.
not.
To
I
me, that was
should
some of
have.
your best work. Um, but looking at this, the one thing that really stood out to me, I've never heard of this before.
Hmm.
Be impeccable with your word. So the one thing that I struggle with when it comes to situations like this that are difficult, it's being very clear and direct with what I mean, like saying actually what I feel. Because I find that I try to skirt around situations,
Hmm.
and I try to almost not make the other person mad at me. Like even though I'm the one who has the problem with the other person,
Yeah.
I will find myself being like, well, let me just say this in a way that I won't offend them
Yeah.
because I'm so concerned with how they're going to take how I feel about the situation versus how
Hmm.
I feel about the situation. And I think that
Hmm.
oftentimes can make you, especially when it comes to money, make you just not say anything. Either you don't say anything and then you just let it fester and build until one day you explode with frustration because you've just not
Yeah.
said anything all this time. And that's what you want to avoid in these situations.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think you're right. This absolutely can happen with money because it is such a touchy subject and because it has such a big impact on our life. And I think that even people who are in marriages where they don't feel comfortable talking about money, they don't feel like they can because they don't want to upset the other person. They don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to do these things. And that can be really hard to do. But I think that if you're willing to follow these four agreements, don't take anything be impeccable with your word, don't take anything personally, don't make assumptions, and always do your best. Like it's really good. And I think actually there's a fifth agreement. I think he came out with a fifth agreement,
You can't just be
which
adding
is
agreements. We said there was four
very
agreements, and I ran the
there's
fifth.
I think he came out with a book, what my mom said, because my mom's the one who told me about this book. So I listened to it because, she's awesome. And
Your mom does have good advice. I will
my
definitely give her
yes,
that.
she does. My mom said something like basically the fifth agreement is very similar to like Byron Katie's work with question your thoughts, like question the thoughts that enter your mind. So I'm sure maybe that's what the fifth agreement is or something. I haven't read it, but um, yeah, I think just really clear, very clear words where no one can take anything the like no one can say like, oh, they like when you hear I'm not going to give you any more money, they're not hearing I'm not going to give you any more money starting next month or starting next year. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I think it's easy to be like, someone say, for example, Allison's coming to me. She's like, hey, Chris, can I get, $50? And I'm like, I want to say no, but then
2000.
we're gonna start small, Allison. We're working way after that. We're starting. She comes to me, asks for $50, and if I'm thinking, I really don't want to, because Allison's a flake. She's gonna spend it on her Netflix subscription so that way she can watch this girl die in the toilet yet again, and if I say to her, instead of saying no, you know what, actually, I don't want to lend you the money right now. I can't do this anymore, and I'm being direct with how I feel. If instead I say, you know what, I can't really right now. That's something I would say.
But yeah, money's
That
really tight.
yeah, that leaves the door open. It's like, well, not right
Mm-hmm.
now, but he's not saying no. Don't come ask me again in like 2 weeks. And I think it's like you said when you were going through those lists of things, you have to be clear with how you feel about this and set
Mm-hmm.
that strong boundary. Because if not,
Mm-hmm.
they'll just come back again. They're never going to
Yes, they
stop.
will. They will because it's a pattern, because you've established a pattern. You've established a routine. And don't be mad at yourself for establishing that routine. Take it as
Yeah.
a life lesson and learn, okay, you know what? Patterns, you like I established this pattern and they picked up on the pattern. And so now I need to make sure that in the future I don't create patterns that don't make me happy in my life. Um, and so it really is a lesson. I would also say when you had said something about like wanting to, you said one of the things you struggle with is not wanting to like upset people or make them
Yeah.
mad or that. Okay, Chris, you can't make assumptions on how that person is going to feel or react.
That's
So
true.
that's what you're doing. So when you worry about what someone else is going to feel, and I do this too, and I know I do this, um, I can't make assumptions. So for instance, I had a situation recently. I'm not going to give any information away because I don't know if this person listens to the podcast, but I had a situation recently where I thought I left this time together with someone and I thought I went to bed that night and I thought, oh my gosh, that person's probably mad at me because I didn't do this. Or this
Yeah.
person's mad at me because it was all things I didn't do. Oh my gosh, I didn't do this. I didn't do this when I was with this person. And then I was like, no, Allison, stop. Like you are literally assigning thoughts to that person that you don't even know that they have. And if they have those thoughts, that's their problem, not my problem. If they have those thoughts and if they want to come to me and talk to me about it, that's fine. But I can't be making assumptions about what they are thinking. And I remember laying there in bed, and my husband was sleeping rudely when I was dealing with this.
How dare he
And
sleep with peace
I
and
know.
comfort on his
And
face while you're struggling?
but I felt so good. I was like, okay, oh my gosh, like this is true. Like I can't be assigning those thoughts to that person because all it does is make me anxious. And so I called my mom the next day and I told her, and she was like, I'm so proud of you, Allison. I was like, thanks, mom. Finally growing up.
Well, yeah, I do that exact same thing,
Hmm.
where I just assume, oh yeah, I've left so many interactions like, oh man, that person, they're never going to talk to me again. This went horribly, and it's like I just
Do you
make
ever
all
do
that
that
in
with
my head.
me?
Oh, never, because I'm like,
I never do that with you either. I think that's true friendship, though, right? Maybe
I
that's
think
like
so.
we're good
Well,
friends.
actually,
Like
no,
we're
no,
good
no. I
friends.
think I have. I think I have. I think we've had it probably when we like early on in our friendship. I probably was like, oh man, maybe I made that joke about her watching that thing one too many times, and now she's gonna be like, oh, Chris is a jerk.
Yeah,
But
that
we
happened. I don't know. No, I didn't.
no, but I think so many of us do that. You just
Yeah.
assume the worst.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna ask you though. So for our anonymous writer here,
Mm-hmm.
she says she's afraid that this person's getting more and more comfortable starting to think that this is okay. What would you say? Like, what would your parting words be for her to how to, I guess, just address this person to talk to them the next time this situation comes up, or should she address them before the next time? Wait till the next time comes
Mm-hmm.
up. Like, what are your thoughts?
I don't think she should address it before the next time because you're making assumptions that it's going to happen again, and we don't make assumptions.
Okay.
So I would say that if it happens again, you just be prepared to say very clearly no, whether it's in text, in email, or face to face, or over the phone. You just say, and don't apologize for your choice because you have nothing to be sorry about. All you have to say is, I know I've helped you in the past. However, I can't help you I can't lend you any money anymore going forward because there is a pattern and part we have to take ownership. You have to take part ownership because you allowed that pattern to happen, and that person who has been borrowing money for you also has ownership in that pattern because they continued to go back to you. The only way it's going to stop is for you to disrupt the pattern, and that's what setting those clear boundaries will do. It will disrupt the pattern. Will they come back again? maybe you
Mm.
disrupt the pattern. You say the same thing over and over again. Don't make assumptions about how it's going to make them feel. Don't worry about if they're going to be able to figure out the money situation. That is not your job. That is not that is not something that is assigned to you to worry about. They are an adult. They can figure it out. And so I would say disrupt the pattern as soon as it happens.
Oh, okay. I like that. Like just break it up so they don't feel like this is just part of their routine of coming to ask you for money.
Yeah, I mean it is their routine now. It has
Yeah,
turned
it is.
into the routine, and this is a lesson on how to make sure that you protect yourself, so that way you don't have patterns and routines in your life that don't serve you. And it's okay for you to have been doing that for a period of time and then realize, you know what? I don't want that pattern in my life anymore. And that's okay
Mm.
if you wanted it
Hmm.
in the past and you don't anymore. You have that free choice to change how you interact with that person and how you interact with lending out money, things like that.
Exactly, exactly. And I think this with this situation that we kind of cut the note down that they sent to us,
We
but
did.
they also mentioned that they're okay financially, like this isn't hurting them. But I also
Hmm.
thought like I know there's the same very similar situations happen where if you're the person lending the money, it's you're doing it because you want to be nice, but it's also hurting you financially,
Yeah, we don't
and
want that.
we don't want you to do that. I remember I heard this quote recently. It was don't set yourself on fire to keep others warm.
Oh.
And it's like don't harm yourself just to try to help others as much as you want to
Hmm.
because there's resources out there. I mean, I get it. Like there's a lot of people that fall through the cracks, and
Of
the
course.
systems that we have aren't always there to help everyone who really needs
Hmm.
the help.
Systems are messed up.
It really is, but you can't be responsible to help everyone. And if this is something
Hmm.
that's bothering you, whether it's hurting you or whether it's not hurting you, like the person who wrote in, you have the
Hmm.
right to say no and set these boundaries. And
Exactly.
you can help them find other resources. You just don't have to be the
Hmm.
resource.
Exactly. And I think that this is happening more and more, especially since the pandemic. I know that I had an inner circle member once say that she started hurting financially because she was giving to so many different charities. And so it's just what you said. She was hurting financially. She wasn't able to make minimum debt payments. She was putting herself in a bad position financially because she had a giving heart and was
Yeah,
trying to go to local restaurants so that way they'd stay alive. They wouldn't shut down, and give to all these charities. And while that's a wonderful way to show your heart, ultimately it is hurting yourself. And so if you can instead focus on, a balance between the two that allows you to be comfortable financially, then down the line you can do even more. So I think that's
exactly.
important to remember as well.
Exactly. So, our anonymous writer, thanks so much for sending this in. We hope this is helpful. Let us know. We always want to hear like follow up. If anyone's
Yes.
ever written in or called us and you've tried our advice or you try something different, we won't take it personal. Let us know. We want to hear how it went.
Yes, and if you're listening to this and you didn't share it, you
Mm.
didn't write in with it, but you're like, "Oh my gosh, this has happened to me before." Let us know if you take the advice. Even though it wasn't your particular situation, you can send us a message or you can call us at 707 200 8259. And of course, if you have an awkward money story that you want to share, we want to hear it. We want to have you on our podcast. You do not have to give us your name, or you can always write in as well by going to awkwardpodcast.com or send us a DM on Instagram at This Is Awkward Podcast. We would love to hear from you. Chris, you're muted. Chris, you're muted.
How did I
He's over
mute
here
myself? I
trying
don't
to
even know how
talk.
I did that.
I
Oh,
don't know. I
I
was
don't know.
like, oh, good, finally. No, I'm kidding.
You're like, it sounds so peaceful over here. I don't know what's going on. So
Oh,
we're gonna take
gosh.
a quick break, but when we come back, we're gonna hop into what I'm loving, Allison's all-time
Oh
favorite
my gosh, I'm so excited.
segment and part of the show.
I'm
So yeah,
so
we'll be right
excited.
back. I was looking. So in the Discord chat here, we have.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. Scroggy Mama.
I saw Beth Ann. She said, "I struggle with that. I want to help
Mm,
everyone, but can't afford it." I think it's hard. There's so much going on right now,
there is.
and there's so many people who really do need help. And I definitely get the pull. Like you want to help out, and you want to provide. You want to do your part because no
Yeah,
one wants to sit and watch other people suffer. But
exactly.
then it's so hard
Exactly.
because you don't want to make your family suffer and your
Hmm.
goal to help other people feel better. It's a hard balance. It is.
You know what I used to do, and I don't do this anymore, but I should start it again. Maybe I'll talk to Matt about this. is we used to have a spontaneous giving cash envelope.
I remember you telling me
And
about this.
yeah, it was $100 a month, which this was after we were debt free. This was after we paid off debt. We did not do this while we were not in a position financially to do so. And we would literally have it. And if, like, we were both teachers, and teachers have a tendency when something goes wrong in their life, like other teachers support them. So if someone's like for instance, when James had surgery, like people just gave us money, like they just collected money and
I
gave
remember
it
you
to
telling me
us.
about that.
So what we would do is every month we would look for a way to find someone to spontaneously bless. And whether it was like a teacher in the school, I know one time we like gave someone money for daycare. And one thing that happened to us in our life is we were out to eat at Chili's, baby back ribs, and someone paid for our meal, one of his students' parents. And so sometimes we would take it. And if we hadn't used it that month, we would take it. We would pay for someone's meal randomly. We need to do that because
God was in that Chili's that night.
Nice. That was so good. I have never, I am so honored to be your friend. I am so honored to be your friend. And if anyone knows that reference, I want to be your friend too. But no, anyway, so we need to do that more. And you know what? We did it when the kids were little, and we really need to be doing it now that the kids are older. Like, we really need to be doing that so they can see it. So I'm going to add that to our budget.
I think that's putting it in your budget. I think is the best way to do it.
Oh yeah, because otherwise you won't. Well, otherwise you'll either overdo it or you won't do it at all.
Yeah, because if all of a sudden you're like, you know what, I'm just feeling real generous today, and you haven't like paid your electric bill yet, you're not going to feel great about that afterwards.
And what it does is, I think, like Beth Ann said, or not, or, yeah, was it Beth Ann said that who said that they want to do that? That they do that often? Oh, I struggle with that. Beth Ann said that. I think also what it does is when you don't have it intentionally planned, you feel like, oh my gosh, I need to help and I'm not helping already. But when you have something like that intentionally planned and you have literally the money sitting in a cash envelope, you can say, oh my gosh, I've planned for this. Like, this month I want this money to go here. And next month I want to give it to that other place or that other person or that other thing. And so it feels a lot more intentional. And for me, I stopped feeling like, oh my gosh, I want to help everyone, but I can't afford it or I can't do it. Even if it's just like $20, it feels very intentional. So that way you don't go on like this giving splurge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you can spread it out. You don't have to wait till Christmas to do it. You can kind of spread it out throughout the year.
Yeah, like I think even just starting with $20 a month is a really good idea. I think I'm going to talk to Matt about doing it. And like honestly, we'll probably we do tithe. We do give 10% of our income to our church. So I'm just going to take it out of that. Is that terrible?
Spread it around.
Yeah, spread it around. Like, might as well just take it out, like $100 out of that, and then be able to give in a different way that is still generous and still helpful.
Man, no, I love that. I love that idea.
Yeah.
You know what? You've inspired me, Allison.
Okay, you can give your first 100 to me, and I'll give my first 100 to you.
Let me do the math on that. Something tells me something is not right about that, but I haven't quite figured it out.
No, I think you should do it. I think you should.
Oh, okay, yeah, for sure. Let me get my checkbook here and write it out to you.
Oh no, you should give your first 100 to your niece.
I still need to set up her 529
Yes,
plan. I gotta get on that.
Come on, pull it together.
Oh, okay.
All
right. Should we bring
yeah,
back?
let's
Come
jump
back?
in. Let's bring.
Right.
Do you want to bring us back? Or you want me to bring us back? I'll bring us back.
How about you bring us back?
Here we go. Christopher.
Yes,
Christopher.
awesome.
The Rock Browning. I don't know what your middle name is. Michael. Dwayne.
Yeah, it's Dwayne. Oh, I lost Allison. See, she was trying to guess my name. That's what she gets. Here she is. She just came back. See?
I never left.
You disappeared.
I never left.
Oh, could you still hear me?
I could still hear you.
I don't know what happened. On my screen, you went away. Okay.
Hopefully everything's good. Okay, let's start that over.
I'll teach you for trying to guess my middle name.
Okay. Christopher. Insert middle name here. Browning. Do you know what time it is?
No, what time is it?
It is time for what I'm loving. This is when you and I get to share something that has brought us a little bit of joy, something that has allowed us to say, this is why I live. This is why I have been put here on the earth. Even if it is something so small and so minuscule, it excites us. It excites us to be alive. And we want to share that with you. So that way you can look at the joys in life and just help you find peace and comfort more than you ever have before.
I felt that in my soul that time.
That was terrible.
You know,
I was just,
I was moved by that. I was
I
moved.
was, I was really making that up on the fly.
You're just stretching, grasping. It's okay.
I
I would have known if you wouldn't have said that. So,
Oh my gosh.
who do you want to go first?
I want to go first because mine's more serious and less fun.
Is it? Okay. All right. So, Allison,
Okay.
what do you love?
I am loving a book that I listen to on Audible. Shout out to Audible, a subscription that I happily pay every single month. And it is How to Talk So Kids Will Listen and Listen So Kids Will Talk.
Is this the book that your son saw you listening to in the car and was like, what is this?
Yes. Did I tell you? Did I talk about that on the podcast?
Well, you didn't, it wasn't what you were loving, but you mentioned this situation.
Yes. So I listened to this and I thought it was really great. So my oldest son just turned 10 and I'm listening to another book right now, but right after this book, in the next parenting book, I'm listening to a parenting book right now called Unselfie. And it's about how to create empathetic kids in a me world or something. I can't remember exactly. I'm only on chapter 1. But regardless, this book, How to Talk So Kids Will Listen and Listen So Kids Will Talk, is absolutely amazing. It's very much just about it's very much a parenting book, right? So that way we don't yell, so that way we don't scream. Not that I'm saying I'm perfect and I never yell. I do lose my cool. But I feel like I literally have tools of things I can do in the moment when I'm frustrated or whenever they are frustrated. And then it's so good. And I actually, like I said, we just got the one that I bought the physical book for my husband because he's a book reader. And it's How to Talk So Teens Will Listen and Listen So Teens Will Talk. Because I think I'm
starting for your older son.
Well, yes, he's 10. And after, several instances, I was like, we need to have this book. We're ready for the next stage, right? So it's the other book is for my younger son and for him too. But it's really, really good. So here it is. How to Talk So Kids Will Listen, Listen So Kids Will Talk. It has amazing reviews. It's very actionable. And if you get the Audible version or the audiobook, I don't know if the regular book has this or not. They had literally sessions at the very end. So it had the book and then they went through sessions, parenting sessions, classes that people would go to. So it was really cool. It was really great. And yeah, Evan saw I was reading that and he was like, what are you trying to do? And I was like, be a better parent. This isn't a trick. I'm not trying to trick you into telling me your secrets.
Is it still as effective if he knows it's coming? If he knows that the techniques are coming, does it negate the techniques?
No. Okay, but one of the techniques is you assign words to what they're doing. So if you're praising someone, you would say something like, that's what I call independent. If they went and took the, dishes and they put it in the dishwasher, you say something like, that's what I like to call independent or something like that. And so I started doing that. And my younger son, James, one day said something like Evan was doing something that he shouldn't have been doing. And I was about to say that's what I like to call, and it was I don't remember, but James, the 7-year-old, said, that's what I like to call lazy. As an insult to his brother. I was like, what have I created? A monster.
As you were saying that, this is what I thought of right here.
What?
Now that's what I call music.
Now that's what I call music.
Which apparently now that's what I call music. 81.
81. I remember. I used to love the first couple because it's all the best singles. You don't have to buy the $3 single CD, right?
I'm how does this work now? Are people buying CDs? How do you buy it? Now that's what I call Yacht Rock Volume 2. How does
Yacht Rock? Who's listening to this? What type of upper class people are listening to Yacht Rock?
In the world of
only
Spotify,
music you listen to on your yachts?
Does
This is
the
great. I need to play this on Amazon Music
Yeah,
when
I
I'm
mean, do you stream
working.
this now? Is this how this works? 'Cause I
I
can't imagine
don't
people buying
know. I
this.
want the 90s though. I want the ones from the 90s, the early 2000s. Anyway, what I'm loving is that book. I'm also reading. Pull up the book Unselfie. Pull up the book
Oh,
Unselfie real
unselfie.
quick.
Okay, let's see.
I'm also currently listening to, now this one's kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie to you. Listening to it is boring, but I'm determined after listening to like the facts about it and everything to power through, because it's all about how to raise empathetic kids and like the why empathetic kids succeed, and it says our all about me world, and how like it's very interesting because they did this study of like in like the Middle East, like two countries, I don't remember what the countries were off the top of my head, that hated each other. They actually decided that the way to have peace is to teach kids how to have peace. So they
Mm,
did summer camps where they brought the two nationalities together, and they taught each other how to communicate and like hear the other person's side and develop empathy, and how that is the way to, it's such an emotion that kids are not taught these days. And so like in the
yeah,
first chapter, it's literally like, from what I understand that they're going to give me is like, okay, here, do these things with your kids for a month and talk about like understanding other people's feelings and where they're coming from, and how like just because someone looks different on the outside doesn't mean they don't feel the same way in these situations on the inside, and all of these things. And I just think that it's so important to do that. And they were talking about, because kids are so empathetic, like bullying has increased. And one of like the really sad facts was like 1 in 5 10-year-olds contemplate suicide. And it's
mm,
just because kids don't know how to have empathy towards, I mean, that's not the only reason, but one of the contributing factors is that kids don't know how to have the empathy towards each other, so that way they don't treat each other like trash.
yeah, exactly.
So
Well, I think this is a great idea. I mean, because yeah, who doesn't need to be taught to have a little more empathy? Especially, kids can be so cruel. it's
oh,
it's tough being a kid.
and it's like crazy. They had all these stats about like since social media, and like you have to have empathy, and you see the people that don't have empathy because you see the comments they write on TikTok, you see the
Yeah,
comments they write on Instagram, which is why when I get a mean comment and I get an ugly comment, I have to tell myself, hey, this isn't about me, this is about them. And which is why also whenever I am tempted to write ugly comments, or I'm tempted to do something like that, right? Because we're all human, we're all
I was like,
tempted to
I
like
was like, where are you
have,
tempted to write these comments, Allison? I
no,
need
I
to
mean,
know.
just like negativity. Like when you're
Yeah,
tempted to have that, you have to, that's why I have to say, okay, this isn't a them problem, this is a me problem. Like I know it's a me problem. And so what am I going to do about it? But you do that when you have the empathy. You able to not
hmm,
respond that way when you can think about how it's going to make the other person feel and all those things. And we just need more of
yeah.
that. So anyway,
No, we
those
really do.
books,
We really do.
that's what I'm loving. And I'm, like I said, I have not finished Unselfie, but I am reading it right now. I have finished How to Talk So Kids Will Listen and Listen So Kids Will Talk. It was absolutely incredible. I will listen to it again. And then after Unselfie, I'm going to read How to Talk So Teens Will Listen and Listen So Teens Will Talk.
Okay, maybe I'll grab that so I can be ready for my niece when she's able to actually talk and
Yeah,
do stuff. I'll be prepped. I'll
let's
get
start with
prepped.
just getting her 529 set up.
Yeah, I'll do that first, then the book.
Yeah. Okay, so
Okay,
what
no,
are
I
you
like that.
loving?
All right, so for me, what I'm loving, I've been, trying to be more mindful of like, what are things I'm really enjoying? And I have to give credit to, Logan, who's often mentioned on this
Oh,
podcast.
Logan.
He gave me this recommendation. I wasn't going to watch this. It's an Apple original, Apple TV Plus original. And I was like, I don't know. I like the people, the people who are in it. I was like, I like these people, but I don't know why. I just wasn't gravitating towards it. And he started watching this show and he's like, Chris, you need to watch this. It is great. So I did. And it was great. And it was so great that I recommended it to you. And that's The After Party. And it's on, like I said, it's on Apple TV Plus. It stars a bunch of people. It's so hard because I don't remember actors' names, but there's
I don't
Tiffany
either.
Haddish. There is John Ralphio from Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec, which is not his real name, by the way, but that's
No,
who Chris and I refer to him as.
I don't remember his name, but he's from Veep. I loved him in that show.
Okay.
This guy back here, I don't remember his name, but he's in a great British show called Staff Lets Flats that I love.
Oh,
So there's a lot of great people who I'm just horrible with names, so
yeah.
they're all in this. But it's a murder mystery comedy.
So good.
And the premise is this guy here, I think he's like he's a Franco. I think I forgot his name. I always forget which one it is. He's one of the
Okay.
brothers. But anyways, they all graduated in 2006, so a year after we graduated high school, and
Yes.
they come back
Chris
for
and I.
their what 15 year? I guess I think it's like
15
their
year.
15 year
15-year reunion.
school reunion. And they show up. They're all talking, and this guy became famous. He's like a pop star, an actor now, and he ends up having this party afterwards at his place, and he ends up dying. And so Tiffany Haddish is a detective, and she comes and she's trying to
Oh my
solve the
gosh, she is
murder.
hilarious.
And comedy ensues as they go through and listen to everyone's stories. And I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to say too much about it. But they're telling their perspective, and she's trying to figure out who actually committed this murder. And it's amazing. It is such a great show. And actually, I told you, you binged it all like
I
in one
did.
day.
I did. So I know people are like, don't you have kids? How are you binging it? Well, this past weekend, my husband took the boys on a Cub Scout camp out, and I stayed home with the animals. And I told Chris, I need a show. I need a show to watch because I'm going to binge a show while I like clean and get the house, like just do things around the house. I watched it like literally straight. I started at probably like 7 a.m. and just watched it straight. And I told Chris, I'm going to text you after every episode and
Yes, you
tell you
did.
who I think did it. And I didn't do it after every episode. I think I did it like, I don't know how many episodes there are, maybe like 8.
You did like a
I
couple of,
probably
there was 8 episodes, and you did like a couple of times.
I probably did like 4 or 5 texts. I guessed it so quick.
You guessed it by like the third
And it was a
episode.
total guess. It was a total I was like, I don't know why, but this is what I think. And I remember you were like, ha ha. And
I
then
was playing it off, could you tell?
and then yeah, you played it off. And then the next episode, I said, I just finished this episode 4. I still think it's this person. Like I'm holding to it. And I was right.
I couldn't believe it because I did not suspect the person who it ended up being, and you guessed it. And I was like,
I did.
you know
I
what?
did.
I'm impressed. It's all that murder mystery you've been watching. It's got your
I don't
detective
watch murder.
skills
I
on
don't
point.
watch murder mysteries. I watch
I mean,
reality love shows that are trash.
that girl, I mean, I'd hate to bring it up again, but that girl died on the toilet. And that
Stop.
was a mystery of how it happened and how she got back to help her family and resolve her relationships.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Okay, on that note, if you have Apple TV, go watch it. It's hilarious. I actually
yes.
told Matt about it and I said, we need to watch this. I'll watch it again with you. It's so funny. I think a lot of it is like the references, and they just do a really good job. They do a really good
Yeah.
job.
It's a great story. And they balance the murder mystery with the comedy really well in
Mhm.
this one.
Yes, they do. So hands down, I recommend that as well. Thank you for recommending it to me because
You're
I
welcome.
really enjoyed it.
You finally took one of my recommendations.
I did. Are you proud of me?
I am. But I know one thing that you will definitely enjoy that I tell you about, and that's our listener
What's
shout
that?
out.
Yes, our listener shout out, which Chris, I have something in 1 minute that I forgot. I forgot
Oh,
I have
yeah.
an interview in 1 minute.
That's
How
right.
is
So let's wrap this up quickly. So I'll
Okay.
just jump into it. Our listener shout out is going to Abby. And she actually, in a previous episode, she heard Allison talking about those pins. I forgot what the name of those pins were.
Tombow
that
dual brush pens. Tombow dual brush pens on Amazon.
that you love. You do all your what do you call it?
Writing.
Real people budgets and all your stuff on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram with. She went out and bought it, and she said, "I couldn't help a pin recommendation from a teacher." So,
Yes.
Abby, hey, I'm happy Allison convinced you to buy these pins. I have not bought them, but
They are
I'll let
worth
you
it.
two enjoy them.
Yes.
So-
And we've made it to the end of our episode. I have
we have.
have an interview in now.
And now, so hey, thanks to our person who sent in that their awkward story. We really do appreciate you sharing that with us and being a part of the show. If you want to be like them, you can either go to awkwardpodcast.com. You can go check out past episodes, and you can send in your awkward stories, or you can give us a call at 707-200-8259, and we'll add your voice to the show.
Yes. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Oh, and last thing before we get out of here, again, we'll be taking a break in June, but come join
Yes.
us on Patreon. Go to
Yes.
patreon.com/thisisawkwardpodcast, and you can still get bonus episodes all throughout that break, and plus all the episodes we put out on a regular basis. And that whole back catalog is really building up with a lot
yeah.
of past episodes we put out. So we're going to get out of here so Allison can hop on her other call that we've gotten extremely close to, but we always appreciate you all joining us, our patrons in Discord, and all of you joining us live. So we'll catch you all next week if you're a patron member.
Yes. Bye for now.
See ya.